Hey guys, and welcome to my predictions for this weekend's hurling fixtures. And you'll notice that there was no football fixtures this weekend because the football is taking a break. So only the hurling, so let's jump right in. So up first we have Antrim v Dublin in Round 1B. Yeah, there's only two matches on the Saturday, both in Round 1. So Antrim and Dublin, they're both off to a good start. Dublin drew with Waterford. Antrim unfortunately lost to Kilkenny, but managed to hold their own. So I think Dublin will still win, but I don't think it'll be by too much. So I'm going to say Dublin to win by 2 points, I think, is the best I can give it. Because I think Antrim are really putting in the effort to stay up in round one, and Dublin are on a very good run this year. So Dublin to win by 2 points. So next up we have Limerick v Galway in round one, Group A. Galway had a very dominant win last weekend over Offaly. Limerick actually lost to Wexford. So I think the advantage might be in Galway's favour this time, because Limerick, if they're going to struggle that much against Wexford, whereas Galway absolutely obliterated Offaly, I think it could be a Galway win. But I don't think it'll be by much. I think it'll still be Galway, but only by 1 point. Because I think Limerick they went out against Wexford and they just weren't in the mindset to beat them. And Galway now have quite good momentum after beating Offaly, so I think Galway can just about pull it off. So Galway to win by 1 point. Okay, so we now have the first of our Sunday games, Longford v Fermanagh. Now, Longford are playing for the first time this weekend because there's only 5 teams in Round 3B. But Fermanagh have a good bit of momentum. They won last week against Cavan. So I think the advantage might be in Fermanagh's favour. I know Longford are more rested, but Fermanagh have the momentum of their win. So I'm going to put Fermanagh to win by 4 points. I think they might just about have that edge. So Fermanagh to win by 4 points. Next we have another Round 3B clash between Cavan and Lancashire. Both teams lost last week, but I think Cavan held out just a little bit better than Lancashire did. So I think I'm going to give the win to Cavan, and I'm going to say Cavan by 4 points. I think that's a good prediction of how this is going to go. So Cavan to win by 4 points. Okay, so up next we have a Round 3A clash between Monaghan and Armagh. Both teams coming off a win. By the same score, actually, 1 point. So this is gonna be a hard one to call. I'm kind of leaning towards a draw, maybe. So yeah, I think I'll go with a draw. And the score to be 1-13 to 2-10. So I think that'll be the specific score, but it'll end in a draw. So my prediction is Monaghan 1-13, Armagh 2-10, and a draw. Okay, so up next we have another Round 3A clash between Louth and Roscommon. Louth coming off a 1 point defeat to Armagh, and Roscommon coming off a draw with Tyrone. So I think this favours Roscommon that little bit. So I think I'm going to give it to Roscommon, and I'm going to say Roscommon to win by 2 points. could be more, but uh, I'm going to go with 2 points just because I think that's the safest one to go with. So Roscommon to win by 2 points. So up next we have another Rhine 3A clash between Tyrone and Warwickshire. Tyrone coming off a draw and Warwickshire lost, unfortunately. And unfortunately I think it's going to be a repeat this week. I think Tyrone they're actually getting pretty decent in the hurling at the minute, so that should factor into this match, and I think they're going to win it by 6 points. I think Warwickshire are struggling a little bit, so Tyrone to win by 6 points. So up next we have a Rhine 2B clash between Sligo and Donegal. Sligo unfortunately lost last week by a goal, and Donegal absolutely destroyed London. And I just realised that's 2 Ds. Now, so I think the advantage is going to Donegal at the minute. So I think Donegal are going to win this by 4 points. I think Sligo will hold their ground as best they can, but I think in the end Donegal will just clinch it. So Donegal by 4 points. Okay, so now we have another Rhine 2B clash between Wicklow and Derry. Wicklow drew last week and Derry won, so this is going to be a pretty close one. I think I'm going to give it to Wicklow though. I think Mayo are kind of one of the stronger teams in Rhine 2B, whereas Derry got a kind of middling team in Sligo, so I think Wicklow might have a good chance in this, and I'm going to say they're going to win by 2 points. So I think that's the way it'll turn out. So Wicklow to win by 2 points. Okay, so we have another Rhine 2B clash between London and Mayo, and London got beaten pretty well last week, whereas Mayo drew. So I think the advantage is in Mayo's favour this time. So I'm going to give it to Mayo, and I'm going to say Mayo to win by 8 points. I think London are struggling quite a bit. I know it was only the first weekend last weekend, but I think as it's looking, it's not looking good for them. Mayo are definitely doing pretty well, so I'm saying Mayo to win by 8 points. So up next we have a Rhine 2A clash between Carlow and Westmeath. Carlow unfortunately lost last week, whereas Westmeath won. So I think the advantage is with Westmeath, and I think Westmeath are actually... they're definitely on they're thereabouts in both the league and the championship. It's looking good for them to get promoted in the league because they're already at the top of the championship. So I think Westmeath to win, and I'm going to say Westmeath to win by 5 points. I think that's the most realistic outcome. So Westmeath to win by 5 points. Up next we have another Rhine 2A clash between Meath and Down. Both teams coming off a win last weekend, so I imagine this is going to be pretty close. But I think I'm going to give it to Down. I don't think it'll be by much, but I think Down will pull it off, and I think Down will do it by 2 points. Yeah, I think that's the best I can give it. Meath are doing well, but I think Down are just that slight bit better. So Down to win by 2 points. Okay, so up next we have another Rhine 2A clash between Kerry and Kildare. Both of them are coming off of losses, so it's kind of hard to say, but I think Kerry are on the rise a bit, so I think they'll just about outdo Kildare, and I think they'll do it by 3 points. I think it's a good distance, but it gives Kildare a chance, so Kerry to win by 3 points. Up next we have a Rhine 1 Group B match between Tipperary and Kilkenny. Now this is probably going to be one of the bigger games of the weekend. Both of them coming off a win. So it's kind of hard. I think Tip had a bit of an easier win than Kilkenny did, because Antrim put it to Kilkenny more than Laois put it to Tipperary. So I think it's hard to say though. I think Kilkenny are a bit more in it in the last while than Tip maybe, but it's hard to say. I'm going to say I'm going to say Tip. I'm going to say Tip to win by 2 points. I was considering Kilkenny, but I think maybe Tipperary can just about edge it out. So Tipperary to win by 2 points. Okay, so up next we have our final Royne 1 Group B match, Waterford v Laois. So Waterford are coming off a very close draw with Dublin, Laois are coming off a defeat to Tipperary. So I think the advantage is with Waterford, and I think it'll stay with them. I think Waterford are going to win by 7 points. I think Waterford are quite a strong team at the minute. Laois, they're trying, but they're just not really there. So I think Waterford have the advantage. So Waterford to win by 7 points. So up next we have a Royne 1A clash between Offaly and Cork. Offaly coming off a very bad loss to Galway, Cork coming off a very good win to Clare. So I think it's definitely with Cork. I think Offaly are definitely weaker than Clare, so I think Cork are going to win it by quite a bit more. So I'm going to say Cork to win by 12 points. I think they're just going to walk all over Offaly. I think Offaly just they're up in the top division, but I don't think they're able for it just yet. So Cork to win by 12 points. Okay, our final game of the weekend is the Royne 1A clash between Clare and Wexford. Clare coming off a pretty bad loss to Cork. Wexford coming off a very lucky win over Limerick. So I think if Wexford play the way they did last weekend, they'll definitely have a good chance in this match. I think though Clare will want to improve themselves, so I think it'll be close. I think Wexford might just about do it. I think they'll win it by the same amount they won last weekend. So I think Wexford will win it by 3 points. And it'll probably come from a goal. I don't think it'll be 3 scores put over the bar. I think they'll get a lucky goal that'll keep them 3 points ahead to win. So Wexford to win by 3 points. So there you have it. Those are my predictions for the weekend's fixtures. I'll have my results up sooner this time because there's only the hurling to do, so it'll be easier to get made and get around to. So if you liked this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you for the next one.